Hey everyone, and welcome to the first episode of the StreamKick Podcast. And damn, it feels good to do this. We have been planning this and talking about this for over a year, and here we are. We're finally doing it, and we have an awesome first show lined up. Real quick, I'm going to introduce myself and my co-host. My name is Camper. I'm the co-founder of StreamKick, longtime stream viewer. Never actually streamed before, at least not intentionally. A longtime stream viewer, been watching Twitch for many, many years. Had this idea to create a better way to discover streams and help streamers and help viewers find content they want to watch. And excited to have the show. And I'm joined today by some really awesome people. Rhino, I'll kick it over to you, man.
Hey everyone, I'm Rhino Paws. I'm Camper's business partner, co-founder of StreamKick. And believe it or not, although we have a business focused on the streaming industry, I don't know a lot about streaming or gaming, so this should be fun. I'm looking forward to this.
And my name is RoboKast. I'm a content creator, YouTuber. I've been making gaming videos on YouTube for about probably 4 or 5 years, and I'm just getting into the streaming world. So it's definitely cool to be on the show and to be able to talk about all of these new things that I'm getting involved with.
Right on, guys. So we're pumped to have you guys on the show today. Real quick, what is the StreamKick Podcast all about? So this is a weekly show where we cover what we call the Roundup. So if you've been following our content for a while, you'll know that the Roundup is a weekly collection of all of the top stories, at least as we see it, in the world of streaming. So what happened on Twitch, what happened on Mixer, Facebook, YouTube, any of the platforms are fair game, the streaming industry, where people are going to stream, different innovations, different companies in this space, just anything that you can think of streaming related. We don't really get into like the drama of streamers. We're not really into that side of things. There's plenty of places you guys can go to get that. It's not really what it's about. But you can come here each and every week, get a quick summary of all those stories. We'll give you our analysis, our insight, which is worth whatever you want it to be worth to you. And hopefully by the time we're done, you guys leave and you feel like you learned something. So what's everyone up to this week? How's your weekend?
Weekend was good, man. Just I'm glad things seem to be opening up a little bit with the social distancing. Still looking forward to trying to get a haircut shortly.
Oh my God.
Oh, dude, haircut season is going to be great.
Yeah. But
never thought I'd say haircut season, but
haircut season is going to be like 2 weeks, right?
Dude, screw football season. I'm ready for haircut season.
You might not get haircut season or football season. You might only get haircut season.
I mean, worst case, I could just grow a mullet and a mustache.
Oh, but then you would have to have a face cam in your videos,
and I'd have to wear jorts 24/7.
And you need a cam for that too.
Jorts cam.
Oh, that's crazy. Yeah, this whole coronavirus thing has been nuts because it's like a mixed blessing, right? So obviously it's terrible for what it's doing to the economy and the world and everything, but then you have the world streaming, which is, it couldn't be better. This is one of the best things that could happen to live streaming. Like, the industry is absolutely exploding right now. We're actually going to cover some of that stuff today, but it's just crazy to be involved in this industry and to see what's happening just in the world in general. And then you kind of turn and you look inward and you're just like, man, we are super lucky to be doing the stuff that we're doing. It's really nuts.
Yeah, it's a good time for content. That's for sure. I know I'm watching a lot of content. Trying to make a lot of content, but getting there. I'm still working on that one.
Yeah, I mean, you got to do something with all the extra hours, right? So
yeah,
you've got you're managing, like you were saying the other day, like 3 channels or something on YouTube?
Well, I'm managing one, kind of working on the other one as a startup project, and then the third one is like almost a second startup project. So realistically, I'm managing one, but juggling 3. If that makes sense.
That's crazy, man. That is crazy. The whole like world of YouTube to me is just super interesting because it's like you go to YouTube anytime you need to figure out how to do something. You go to YouTube. Like, there's this metric everyone loves to throw around where they say, oh, did you know what's the second biggest search engine in the world? And someone says Bing or Yahoo, and they're like, oh no, it's YouTube. I gotcha. And it's like, but when you think about that for a minute, like, it's not even a search engine, and yet it still qualifies as the second biggest. And the bulk of that is like how-to videos, which is, to me, is amazing. Like, anytime I need to do anything around the house or whatever, it's like the first thing I do is just go to YouTube, like, how to. And 9 times out of 10, the first video it gives you, there you go. You have your answer. It's just nuts.
Yeah. It's great, honestly.
Yeah. So especially if you're into gaming, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. There was new industry report out from Stream Hatchet, all about the industry. So we're gonna get that into a minute. I don't want to spoil it, but that being said, let's go ahead and dive into what is actually the 183rd consecutive week of the roundup. That number is just blows my mind too. So, but let's get into it. First story that we have, actually, this one, I don't know how I feel about this. Reality programming is coming to Twitch. Just let that sink in for a minute. Reality programming. Isn't that what Twitch is already? Just minus the programming part? Like, that is the beauty of Twitch, is that it's the ultimate reality show, right?
True. I mean, ironically, though, reality shows are like the furthest away from reality that you can get. So
that's true.
It's like almost taking the realness out of Twitch.
That's
making it scripted.
Exactly. I mean, that's a really good way to look at it. You know what's funny is when you look at the history of these kinds of shows on Twitch, they've always not been great. Like, Twitch has done reality-based shows before, and they're loosely scripted, and I have a feeling these will be scripted as well. There's in the story, they're spending like somewhere between $50,000 and $250,000 a week, I think it is, on these shows. So there's definitely going to be some scripting. There's no way they're just dumping this money in and just being like, oh yeah, just go do your thing, we'll see what happens, right?
So give me an example of what that's going to be like. Is that just somebody living their life and
no, and see, that's what it should be, but it's not. So what they're actually doing is they're actually doing like these like game show, like what are the things you think of when you think reality shows? Like, what do you think of?
The Bachelor.
Yeah.
Okay. Check. That's going to be there. What else?
Jersey Shore. Never watched it, but I do think of it.
I think that's already on Twitch. What else?
I don't know, shit like House Hunters and
kinda, yeah. So game shows.
Setup Hunters.
What's that?
Setup Hunters.
Setup Hunters. Yeah.
We're gonna find you a new setup.
Yeah, they just bust in. Oh, I think that's called swatting. No, it's so game shows, dating shows, talk shows, sports and music content. So pretty much all of that already exists on Twitch. So I'm not entirely sure where they're going to go with this, other than like spending money on it. I mean, on one hand, the experimentation is really good. I think it's healthy that they try things. That is one thing that I've always really admired about how Twitch treats its platform, is that they are not afraid to do dumb shit, right? And I don't mean that in a bad way, but they will do stuff where you're scratching your head going, what in the hell are you thinking? Sometimes it hits, other times it falls flat, but at least they're trying. At least they're trying different things.
I don't know. I'm still on the fence about this because, like, well, first of all, the whole point of Twitch is live. Like, obviously they have VODs, but it's like, I don't think anybody really uses those unless you're a Valorant streamer and you're just going to play it on repeat 24/7. But how are they going to do that? Is it going to be live reality shows? Because that's really the only thing that makes sense if you do this.
I mean, it would have to be, right? Otherwise, like, why do it on Twitch?
So, you know what could be interesting, though, is if it's basically like pre-recorded episodes, but they air them live so you can like chat with people while you're watching it.
Pre-recorded episodes. So basically it's like a watch party.
Yeah, basically a watch party, or like a YouTube premiere where it's just a pre-recorded thing, but you watch it live.
See, I think it would be more interesting if the chat was like interacting with the I don't know what you call them, not actors, but the participants or whatever. If chat could like interact and like steer things somehow, like that would be kind of interesting.
Like, oh, it's almost like you know how in some shows like American Idol or The Voice, they do like the call-in voting, or it's probably online now, but how they used to do call-in voting.
Yeah, I remember that.
Maybe like that, where they just like vote in chat or something.
Or just do.
I don't know. I just don't see the application of this.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, one of my big questions here is like, will something like this stick? Like, is the average Twitch viewer gonna tune into Twitch to watch this? I'm not really sure. They're planning to have 4 to 10 hours of content each week, and the shows are going to air 2 to 3 times a week. So yeah, I don't know.
So they're basically producing it. I mean, they're putting the whole premise around the shows, and they're gonna not script it, but set out the stage, set out the platform for which people can come in and act or not act. I don't get it.
I get they can live stream themselves doing the stuff that they do. So I don't know. It's to me, it's just it's trying to like change something that's already kind of good to be something that it wasn't good at before. I don't know. Anyway, that's that. So we'll see how that all plays out. Speaking of watch parties has earned its own dedicated Twitch directory. Okay, so for those of you listening, you don't know what a watch party is. It's pretty straightforward, and this I think is a really good idea. So basically, a watch party is a affiliated or partnered streamer can stream certain pre-approved Amazon Prime Video content. So think like Amazon original content, shows, movies, that type of stuff. Kind of like what Netflix and the other platforms do, but like Amazon's version of that. And they have really good stuff. Certain series like Jack Ryan with John Krasinski from The Office in it.
Mm-hmm.
Partners and affiliates can stream those shows, and their audience can come in and like watch it with them. So basically,
okay, that's sick.
It's a really good idea. And this is like one of those ideas where Amazon is like using Twitch precisely as they should. Like they're taking this thing that they spent like $1 billion on, and they're doing, because you could argue, say like, oh well, they're giving this stuff away for free. Essentially, like people are going to watch it and then move on. But a real world example here, I actually discovered the Amazon original series Man in the High Castle because of a watch party.
Dude, that show is so good.
That show is amazing. I binged that show so hard, and say what you will, I'm not going to spoil anything. Say what you will about how it ended, but that show, like I couldn't go to bed at night after watching an episode because it was always like, I just need one more. I just need one more. It was so good.
Dude, it kept you grasping for every single, like you wanted to keep watching that show over and over. But another one, highly recommend, a little bit off topic, but I would highly recommend if you haven't seen it, is The Boys. It's a superhero show, but it's like a mock superhero show.
Is that
I don't know if you've heard of it.
Amazon too?
Yeah, Amazon Prime. It's one of the few shows I've actually watched on Prime.
I haven't heard of that one.
It's really solid.
Someone mentioned that to me, and I completely forgot about it until you just said it. But I do like when they were explaining it to me, I do remember it sounded like it would be pretty awesome.
It's like satirical superheroes.
So getting back to the watch party though, so somebody streams it, and then do they talk while they're watching it? Like, how does that work?
Yeah. So the whole premise is it's supposed to be like if you were going over to someone's house to watch a show, like as a group, right? Like people have done this forever. There'll be like a particular series that comes on. Like, forget sports for a minute. There'll be like a particular series or something that'll come on, and say, hey, come over to my house. We're all going to watch like the next episode. Oh, I remember. What was that one show? 24.
Yeah.
That was the one with like Kiefer Sutherland or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That show, people used to have like watch parties like at their homes. I remember that show in particular. That was a really big deal. So basically Twitch and Amazon are saying like, let's do the same thing, but let's do it with this, amazing streaming platform we have. They're calling it a quote unquote social viewing experience. So it's, basically just like come to my house without coming into my house.
If only they did that like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the timing couldn't be better, right?
Yeah.
So the people hosting, they're having their like friends come over, and then you're watching the host and their friends watch it.
No, they don't even have, no. So you're just going into a stream, and you're just like hanging out with all the other people that are in the chat, and then the streamer. So the streamer will have like picture in picture. So you'll see their face if they have a cam, and you guys are watching the show together and just like bullshitting with each other as you're watching the show.
I don't know if that would be a vibe, to be honest.
I mean, for some people,
I was kind of hyped about this, but then I was like, you know what, dude? We're going to be watching some show, and then there's going to be some streamer who's just like blabbering on while some crazy event happens and the main character dies. He's out there promoting his Corsair keyboard.
But the only way people can talk to each other is through chat, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, unless the streamer opened up Discord, but I mean, let's be honest, that'd be a total cluster.
That would be.
You're just gonna watch him laugh at shit and.
Say, you put it that way.
Damn.
I love how it always goes this way. We always start. We're like, oh, this is a good idea, and we talk about it. And we're like, yeah, I don't know. This is
wait a minute.
I'm not gonna do that.
Well, anyway, I think from an advertising and like a brand positioning standpoint, I think it's a really good blueprint for like what other brands can do. Like whether you do a show, what they're doing is they're taking other types of content and they're integrating it in a fun way into a different type of platform, which is really, we've talked about this before, which is really what brands should be doing. They shouldn't be just going, hey, streamer, talk about my product, Dollar Shave Club, get shaved for $1. Nobody cares about that crap. Like the dude telling me this has a beard. Like, I don't care about, obviously, you don't know what you're talking about, right? So this is cool because now it's like actually integrated in, we're like doing a thing together. And like I said, I found one of my all-time favorite TV shows as a result of a watch party.
I guess it could go either way. I don't know. It's not the worst thing. I mean, it's not a bad idea. I just don't know if I'd use it personally.
But what do you mean? Yeah. What do you mean a great blueprint for other advertisers? How do they advertise? Like
this is advertising.
Like they advertise the show because all the people are watching
itself. I got it.
Yeah, this is like Amazon Prime Video advertising.
So basically, it's an influencer trying to pushing the show. I got it.
Yeah, exactly.
I see what you're saying. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. Anyway, next story. Twitch has started rolling out upgrades to its channel pages. So a channel page is that thing when you find a streamer and you scroll below the video player, there's all that info. If they've filled it out, there's all this info about them, right? So have like about me, social, they plug in like different widgets from like Stream Elements and Streamlabs and that type of stuff. But for as long as I can remember, and every TwitchCon I've ever been to, streamers have been just clamoring, saying, when are we going to get an update to channels? Like get to the pages, like give us something in our channel page that is like useful and productive. And so of course, Twitch never did anything about it. I shouldn't say that. They didn't do much about it. And then all these third parties would come in and say, no, we'll take care of it. We'll take care of it. And they started plugging in all these really cool widgets. And now slowly but surely, Twitch is just saying like, okay, well, that's a neat widget. So we'll just make that part of it. That's a cool widget. We'll make that part of it. And then the widgets, whether Twitch does as good a job as the widgets do, who knows? But the irony in all of this is that we've talked to a lot of streamers and as part of like what we do at StreamKick, we talk to a lot of streamers, and I bring this question up with them. I bring it up with viewers all the time. Like, how many of you guys actually go and read that stuff? And probably 7 or 8 out of 10 times, people are like, yeah, I never really look at that. It doesn't really matter to me. So I always wonder, does any of that stuff, I mean, yeah, some people will see it, but honestly, like how much does that information matter? Do you guys ever look at it when you find a streamer?
You mean as a viewer? Do you look at who you're watching? Mm. Yeah, I tend to look at it.
Yeah.
But you know what I tend to find is it was previously, it was just a fucking big hodgepodge and there's no like consistency there. It just looked like, it just reminded me of my MySpace. That's what it reminded me of. Just a bunch of bullshit thrown on a page.
Yeah, like a GeoCities page or something.
Yeah.
Wait, so by the channel pages, is that the same thing as the panels below the stream?
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, 99% of those are just like sponsored links and donations anyways.
Yeah.
So like, what did they update it with? Like what exactly did they add to make it better? Because honestly, it wouldn't take much because it wasn't good to begin with.
So, all right, strap in for this one here. They're making it so that their avatars and their hero images are more noticeable. And they're allowing them to include, this is actually kind of cool, they're actually allowing them to include a channel trailer. So like if the streamer's offline currently and you find them, you get they can actually put in a separate image, which is like their offline image. Not every streamer has the wherewithal, the time, the resources, whatever, to have that, but some of them do. It'll say offline, and then in that image, it'll say, I normally stream, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever. Now they're letting them include a trailer, like an actual video, so you can get like a sample of like what their content is all about, which I think that's actually a pretty cool idea.
Yeah.
So yeah, we'll see. We did a survey back in 2018, a discovery survey. We asked a whole bunch of different communities, like all kinds of questions about the different things that they use to be discovered, or if they're looking for new content, like what is influential and persuasive to them to decide what to watch. And interestingly, I was going back and looking at the data when I read this story. I was like, it's a couple years old, but 33% of the people that we surveyed said that that information in those panels was actually important to them when it came to deciding whether or not they were going to watch a streamer. Now, what we should have done is we should have asked, okay, what is there that would be important, right? Because they like Rhino pointed out, there can be a million things in there. It's a hodgepodge. But what would be the thing that would be like, okay, cool, I've seen this thing. I'm going to watch this streamer.
Yeah. I saw so I started watching some Twitch streams last night, and I don't know how common this is, but I saw a couple of people have a stream schedule. It's like a widget that goes with Streamlabs, and it updates and basically shows like, on this day I'm going to play this game at this time, and it'll show it for a whole week, and then they update it every week. And I thought that was pretty solid because I don't ever really know when streamers are streaming. I don't use Twitch enough to like know what these people's schedules are like. And most of the people who have just text that says this is my streaming schedule, it doesn't seem accurate. So I think automatically updating schedules would be something that would be useful, at least for me personally. So I'm hoping they add that because that'd be nice.
Yeah, I think schedules is part of it. And again, that's going to be like another one of those really cool widgets that I think Streamlabs came out with. That Twitch is just going to be like, oh, okay, I'll have that now. But but I mean, in all fairness, I mean, it does help. So if anything, Streamlabs did their job, which was to help streamers get this important tool on their page. I think the bigger thing here is like if Twitch just had a way to take the information that actually mattered and make it more apparent to the viewer before they got to that point in the first place. It's like, because if you're looking at it purely from a discovery standpoint, the amount of things that I need to go through to even get to your page, to then scroll down and see that, to then decide whether or not I'm going to stay and watch you, that to me just seems like it's kind of so far out there that I don't know how likely it is that it's going to make a difference.
Yeah, that's true. And unless they make a better system to get discovered while you're not streaming, there's no point in this because it's not like people aren't going to search for someone who's not streaming unless they already know who they are. You know what I'm saying? Like if you're not live, nobody's going to ever find your channel. That's just how Twitch is designed. It's going to obviously show who's live. So does this help to fix that problem at all?
Yeah, I still, yeah, I see what you mean. I don't think it does. I think it's still really up to the streamers to brand themselves and, focus on their like brand identity, their marketing, because if they do that, then sure, you can stumble on something that has their name or their link or something like that, where you will, to your point, find them without going through the traditional discovery path that exists on Twitch or elsewhere. You'll find them, you'll be able to see that trailer or whatever that other content is, whether it's a schedule or something else, and then you can kind of make a decision. But I feel like, again, at that point, it's kind of like, in order for me to have clicked to get there, you already did or said something that was interesting already. So I'm probably going to want to just watch your content and decide whether I want to stick around.
Yeah, I definitely think that's like the deciding factor when it comes to watching a streamer. At least it is for me personally. Like, I don't care what your description says, as long as you're like, if you're not entertaining, I'm still not going to watch you.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Speaking of entertaining, Robo, you're a YouTuber. Have you ever heard of PewDiePie?
Nah, it doesn't ring a bell.
All right, well,
never heard of him.
Then you're in for a real treat. So this is, to me, this story is just kind of bizarre, but I think it's really important. PewDiePie is the number one, like individual content creator on YouTube. The guy has 104 million subscribers, which is pretty nuts. He has over 25 billion views since he started his channel in 2010.
Wow. That's insane.
It is insane. In 2010, that's not that long ago. Like, it really isn't.
It's
like
really
he
not.
hasn't even been there since the beginning.
Yeah.
And so about a year ago, he signed a streaming contract, an exclusive streaming contract with a relatively new streaming platform called DLive. Have you guys heard of DLive?
Nope.
No.
All right. So DLive is it's still around. I don't know how popular it is, but it's still around. DLive's like claim to fame, or like what makes them different, is that everything on DLive kind of operates along the blockchain. In other words, I'm no blockchain specialist, right? So I'm not even going to try and attempt to explain like what blockchain is or how it works. Like you can Google that and figure it out. YouTube it. There'll be a how-to video. But basically, D Live says, all right, we want to attract streamers who aren't just gamers. We just want to get content creators. Maybe they're YouTubers, maybe they're actors, maybe they're musicians, whatever. We just want to get them on our platform because if we get them, we'll attract an audience. If we attract an audience, then we can make money. The way they do that is they sign these big deals. They take their investment money or whatever capital they have to do this. They sign these big deals. And last year, they signed a deal with PewDiePie. And it kind of blew everybody away because they're like, wait, YouTube has streaming. PewDiePie has 104 million subscribers on YouTube. Why wouldn't he just stream on YouTube? Well, the answer is on D Live, the content creators keep 90% of any of the income that's generated as part of their stream. So, like donations and those types of things, 90% of the, or maybe it's more, I forget, it's a lot. That income goes right to the streamer. Okay. And then everything that doesn't goes back into the crypto network. I think it's the Lido blockchain that D Live uses. It goes back into it so that it can be then given out to viewers in various ways throughout the platform. So essentially D Live is saying like, listen, in this whole financial model, this whole convoluted ecosystem we've created, we're only going to take 1% or something along those lines, right? Everything else is either going to the content creators or to the viewers, which sounds super cool until you need to make money. And so PewDiePie is like, no, you know what? I'm done. I'm going to go to YouTube. So YouTube signed a deal with him and he is now exclusively streaming on YouTube. And it's just, to me, it's just kind of like, I don't know. It was so crazy that they were able to sign him in the first place. In the first 24 hours that he was on D Live, he got 400,000 followers and $26,000 in donations.
That is insane, dude. Those numbers are wild. Could you imagine? Like, he probably streamed for like 2 hours. Could you imagine making 26K in 2 hours?
Yeah.
That's nuts.
And
that's insane.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was getting donations while he was offline too.
Yeah.
Like, I bet a lot of that was offline money.
I just looked it up. His net worth is 30 million. That's ridiculous.
Oh, that's not even anywhere near the most valuable. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, like I'm pretty sure Google Google Ryan's Toys review. That's from what I've heard is like the number one earning channel. It's like this 5-year-old kid who just plays with toys. I don't know what the numbers are, but I'm pretty sure he's worth way more than that.
Yeah, he gets those sweet sponsorships. PewDiePie has a little trouble getting sponsorships these days.
And it seems like YouTube as a platform just don't even act like he exists.
Yeah.
I mean, apparently they kind of do now with this deal, but like even, you know how they do the annual YouTube rewinds? I'm not sure if you're familiar with that.
Yeah.
It's like the biggest thing YouTube does every year. And I don't think he's been in any of the last like 4 of them. I mean, to be honest, Rewind is going downhill in general. It's just garbage. And everybody knows that. But it's almost like you would think being the biggest creator on your entire platform, you would have a bigger say in things, but YouTube does not like him, it almost seems like. It's weird. So I'm not surprised he would sign on another site to begin with, but maybe the fact that he's moving on back to YouTube shows that things are changing.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of validity in what you're saying, because I went back and I looked at one of the original articles from when he joined D Live, and the reason that he cited for leaving was because he said, quote, I feel like I'm being treated like a partner with D Live. It's just absolutely insane. Like, you know, the types of numbers that he's got on that platform. It's like they almost have to pay attention to the guy. And I kind of feel like this is their way of saying like, all right, we're gonna do that. Maybe it's even like a little bit of redemption. Like, all right, man, we're gonna go do your live stream now. Like, we're cool with that. We're gonna get you on this deal. You're gonna live stream with us. We just want to make sure we keep you here. It might even have been a play just to keep his content there in general. Like, I'm not sure where he would take it, but you know, you never know with these guys and you know, the types of new stuff that's always coming out in this industry. I mean, you never really know.
I really don't think anything will ever compete with YouTube. It's like a snowball effect because people aren't going to upload on a platform that doesn't have ways to get viewed. Like, if there's not a bunch of users, they're not going to upload, and you're not going to join if people aren't uploading. So it's like that constant dilemma of why smaller platforms can never grow. And that's why I think, honestly, people like YouTube or people like PewDiePie, sorry, would never switch to another platform.
Yeah, YouTube is kind of like, it's in the same sort of position I feel as like Twitter. Okay, it does a thing that once it's done and it's done decently. I mean, YouTube, it does a great job, I think. Like as far as like a platform goes, I think it's a fantastic platform for what it does. But if it wasn't even say 60% as good as it is now, it would still be fine because
Mm-hmm.
you have a video platform that's pretty easy to use where people can just upload their stuff. You don't need another one. You just don't. Twitter's the same way. There's never going to be another social network that does what Twitter does because once you have it, you don't need another one. It's like the water cooler of the internet. Twitter is. How you don't need two water coolers if one of them never runs out of water. And that's kind of how it is. It's like when everyone always says like, "Oh, is Twitter going to make it? Are they going to go out of business?" What like even if they did, it doesn't matter. Someone else would just buy it and it would keep going. Like they'll figure out a way
Yeah.
because it's a service that people love to use and it's I won't say necessary, but from a societal standpoint, it's very ingrained in our culture at this point.
See, one of the weird situations that's super similar is Vine. Because, like, remember when Vine was super popular back in, I think, like 2012, 2013?
Yeah, they
You
were
wouldn't
like,
think that you would need another platform for that. And next thing you know, there's, I think there was another one, and then there's like Musically, and then now there's TikTok. And TikTok's way bigger than Vine could have ever dreamed of being.
yeah. And TikTok is Musically.
Wait, it's the same thing?
Yeah, Musically became TikTok. Yep.
Thank God, because Musically was so cringe.
And TikTok's
I mean,
not.
TikTok's still pretty cringe, but at least it's like some comedy mixed in with cringe, kind of like my YouTube channel. It's not full cringe.
Yeah, TikTok's one of those things. I don't know. We're off on such a tangent at this point. We started with PewDiePie on YouTube, and we ended up at Musically evolving into TikTok like a mutated Pokemon. But anyway, this is we'll see what happens. PewDiePie is going to do his thing. YouTube's going to do their thing. They got a deal, so now they're married. So we'll see how long the marriage lasts. Hopefully for all the fans out there and for YouTube and PewDiePie's sake, it's a productive one. But that brings us into kind of how we started the episode, which has to do with just the industry in general. And really the big story for the industry is this coronavirus. I mean, that's the story, right? So Stream Hatchet, which is a stream analytics platform, really cool platform. I actually was able to meet the CEO at TwitchCon one year and had a really good chat with him. Super nice guy. They developed this platform years and years and years ago, kind of early in the streaming space, or when the streaming world was kind of new. And they had the foresight to say, like, this is probably going to matter one day. So let's start farming numbers and do analytics. And lo and behold, they were right. I think they were acquired either last year or the year before by like an esports org, which was one of the more bizarre purchases of that year. But anyway, they came out with their Q1 industry report, and there is some wild stuff in here. First off, I'll say we all knew the numbers were going to be big, right? So it was more just a confirming what we knew to be true type of thing. But when you actually take and apply real numbers to what we all thought was happening, then you start to see the scope of just how big of impact this virus has had on this industry. So in the first quarter of this year, almost 5 billion hours of content was consumed. That's not what was created. That's just what was actually consumed. So for all of you that are listening to this that have streamed for 0 viewers for a long time, your numbers aren't even in this. All right? Don't let that feed into any depression or anything. Don't worry. It has nothing to do with your content. 5 billion hours of live content was consumed. It's a 35% increase versus first quarter of 2019. Let it sink in for a minute. 5 billion hours. How many years is that? That's like what, like hundreds of thousands of years or something of time just consumed?
That's Huh. What do you think? Do you think it's just the coronavirus that's really caused streaming to be higher, or do you think there's another reason?
I mean, so if you look at the numbers from last year, everything was kind of on an uptick. but at a relatively steady pace. Like you would have spikes for different things, like when Fortnite did their World Cup and things like that. You would have these spikes where more people would watch because it was getting covered by traditional media. But numbers like this high, yeah, 100%. It's the virus. 100% it's the virus.
Does that represent multiple platforms like Twitch and Mixer and
It does.
different platforms?
Yeah, it does. I forget exactly which platforms they do, but it's at least all of the major platforms. And I say that with confidence because one of the other big things that came out of this was that Facebook in Q1 grew its viewership by 900%. 900%. Now, there was a really interesting stat that came out in like January, from the end of 2019, and they were talking. I think this one was it might have been Stream Elements. I think that this was the data from Stream Elements. Switching gears a little bit here, but it's important. I'll explain why. Back in like January, it was a 2019 report, and what they were doing was they were looking at monthly hours consumed, of live streaming content. And Twitch was up. It was the highest by like a huge margin. YouTube was second. There was a big gap between Twitch and YouTube, but then there was an even bigger gap, I think, between YouTube and everybody else. And Mixer started out 2019, so January of last year, around 27 million hours consumed on a monthly basis. Facebook, interestingly, started the year at the same amount, right around 27, 28 million hours consumed. By the end of the year, Mixer was down to like 26 million. So it actually lost a million hours between January and December per month. And Facebook, I want to say, was like around 190 million. So the two of them started out the year at the same amount. And at the end of the year, Facebook had gone from like 28 million hours to over 190 million hours. And now with this, they're saying it's up another 900% in the first quarter versus that same period last year. So Facebook, I don't know what they're doing, but even in like, and Ryan, you can attest this, like even in the feedback that we get from StreamKick users, everyone's always like, when are you adding Facebook? When are you adding Facebook?
Yeah. Yeah, they definitely ask for it
All the time.
But it's funny. I don't even watch Facebook. Do you?
I have, but I don't.
Yeah.
I don't. So.
And if you go on there, it doesn't seem like there's as many games or as many streamers at any one point in time.
Because you have to look for
compared
it.
to Mix.
Yeah, you have to look for it. Like you go to Twitch and it's just it is what it is. It's there. It's like it's kind of like you go to the grocery store and you're like, oh yeah, we need printer paper. Yeah, they have it, and you kind of know what aisle it's on. You're like, yeah, I'll grab some while I'm here. That's kind of how I feel about streaming on Facebook. It's like you're on Facebook for something else, but you're like, there's a stream. I'll watch it.
Yeah.
So it's crazy just kind of how much this one thing has impacted what we're doing. The other really cool little data point I'll share from this is that there was and this is really important, especially for you streamers that are listening. There's a 70% increase in the number of viewers, specifically for gaming streams year over year. That's an important number. And that, I think, Robo, to go back to your question before about, do you think this is primarily virus driven or solely virus driven? That number, I think, says more about it than anything else, because the fact that there's more viewers in the ecosystem, more people to be counted, I think that reflects on the fact that people are just home and they're not working or whatever else it is. And this is kind of how they're spending time.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, I'm spending a decent amount of time watching content. I know that's for sure.
Yeah, which is crazy because you're a content creator as well. And I know like a lot of content creators, especially, you being involved in as many channels as you are, a lot of times being able to consume it and produce it, they're almost mutually exclusive. You kind of do one or the other. We've talked to a lot of streamers through StreamKick and talked to them about doing things, and they're always like, yeah, I don't have time. I'm either producing content or I'm editing content or I'm planning content or whatever it is that they do, but they just don't have time to watch.
And one thing for me personally, at least, and I assume this is probably the same for a lot of other people who actually enjoy making content, because don't get me wrong, there's people who enjoy making content, and then there's people who make content for money. And there's some people who could pull off both, which is the perfect middle ground. But the thing is, like, making content is such a unique job and such a unique thing to do that for me personally, it's almost like my job and my hobby. So, like, editing a video at 8 p.m. is not like, oh, I got to edit at 8 p.m. It's almost the same thing. So, the fact that like most content creators don't watch as much content, it's not necessarily a bad thing because, like I said, the ones who enjoy it, they're still getting that enjoyment elsewhere from their own content.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. And I think this is an interesting discussion too, because this does come up a lot when we're talking to content creators. That whole notion of like, how much of my time am I investing into my content, and then how much of my time am I investing into promoting my content or improving my content, not just the production of it, but all the other components that go along with it, and what makes for a successful channel, a successful streaming brand, and all of those other things. And I think you hit on something that's important, which is, it's something you're passionate about. So it's like when it is time to do those things that aren't just the recording or aren't just the gaming or whatever it is that may be your thing, those elements of the process, and the process is the important thing, those elements of the process really show in your work. Because especially for like a YouTuber, your end result is a produced piece of content. Whereas like a live streamer, it's like they're there, they're in it, it's in the moment, and then it's over, right? They're either in it or they're not. You guys, I say by you guys, I mean like YouTubers, you have the your energy kind of comes, a lot of it comes after the fact and goes into that post production. And it's kind of like really good film editing, where it's like you don't notice how well it's edited. You just watch the movie, and at the end you're just like, man, that was awesome. I
But you
think,
don't know why.
yeah, and if you sit there and you study and analyze it, yeah, you'll figure it out. But I think it's the same for people like you who have that passion in their and put it into their work.
Yeah, definitely. And I think people who are passionate in general are just way more entertaining to watch, especially with streaming 100%. Because especially, since these numbers are up because of the virus, there's also been a lot of people who are like, oh, I'm going to hop on Twitch and try to stream because, I'm not working right now anyways. Maybe I'll make some extra money. And they're doing it for the money. And you could definitely tell the difference 100%. Like, I watched this dude last night on Twitch who, when he got a donation, he did the Harlem Shake. I don't know, what is this, like 2012? But he did the Harlem Shake for like 45 seconds straight every single time. And he seemed like he was having the time of his life. And it was so entertaining to watch. But then I go over to this other channel, and this dude's like, sweet, bro, thanks for the $1. It's better than nothing. It helps. And then, that's not the type of vibe I'm going for.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch that.
It's better than nothing. That's exactly, you donate to someone and their response is, oh, thanks, that's better than nothing. You're
Imagine donating to like Red Cross and they're like, oh, $1? Really?
That doesn't even buy a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Oh. Well, speaking of changes in the industry, this is one I'm super excited about, and I'm so glad this is happening. Music is just dominating Twitch right now. Music is absolutely dominating. So the last several days that I've been on there and just kind of poking through the directory, you'll see music in the top 9. That didn't used to happen. And the story is, SoundCloud has announced that they're going to have their own official Twitch channel, which is that's not that interesting. But what is interesting is that they're going to start producing series like show series or stream series, whatever you want to call it, specifically aimed at helping musicians grow. And I think that's fantastic because SoundCloud has always kind of occupied that space in music. At least this is my impression of it. I'm not a musician, but they've always kind of occupied that space in music where they're like the indies can come here. Like, we'll let you put your music here. We'll give you a platform. We'll help you find an audience. They've always kind of been about that, at least as I interpret what they do. And they have this opportunity. They struck some kind of deal with Twitch a couple weeks ago. I forget exactly what it was, but now they have their own channel and they're producing content specifically geared towards helping musicians grow. And music is legitimately having its best year ever on Twitch right now. Like, it is just nuts. I was going through the music streams on StreamKick the other day just to see what I could find, just kind of, you know, subdivide different categories and see what was there, see what I could find. And there is so much music content on Twitch right now. It is just kind of crazy how much it's changed in just the last couple of weeks. Have you guys ever found or watched or whatever music on Twitch? Like, have you ever like gone on there and been like, oh, find some music and end up finding something that's really good?
Yes, I have.
I mean, I've had the same issue that I do when I'm looking for other types of content. It's just so hard to find. So I'd be interested to see how, from a discovery standpoint, although it may become more popular, how long it lasts and how long people really find it valuable to do this on Twitch.
Well, so I've talked to a lot of musicians. There's actually quite a few that come to the Orlando Twitch meetup. I've talked to a lot of musicians, and they're always kind of like, yeah, like I'm kind of dabbling with live streaming. I'm here at the meetup. I just want to kind of see what it's all about. And I'm like, why wouldn't you just? It's kind of like one of those things where it's like, okay, you're doing it anyway. Like you're in your home or your studio or wherever you do your thing. You're gonna be practicing. You're gonna be producing music. Why not just stream it? Like just do it anyway. Like give people insight into like the creative process of like how music is made. And I think if you do that, I mean, obviously there needs to be some talent, but I think if you do that, you can find the right formula to win over fans that will stick with you forever. And I feel like these platforms, whether it's Twitch or Mixer or whatever, are just really, really great platforms for doing this type of thing.
Music, for me personally, music has always been like one of the most interesting genres of content on Twitch for me. It's like, everybody could stream a game, everybody could stream just chatting, but music is cool because there's nothing like and having a live DJ on Twitch in the background.
Yes.
I'm not sure if you're familiar with The Roots. They're the band on one of the late night shows. I can't remember which
I think
one.
it's Jimmy Fallon.
Yeah. And they've been around for a while, but they're one of their main dudes. I can't remember who it was, but he was streaming on Twitch and doing like live chill DJ sessions. And like I have to say, that was the most entertaining thing I've watched on Twitch in probably a year. I spent like 3 hours and I got completely sidetracked from editing just watching this guy stream. And because of that, I think it's super cool that they're expanding music. Like I said, that's one of the most expandable things there really is, to be honest.
Yeah. You're right. Like I'll put on, I was doing this last night when I was working on putting the roundup together. And this is when I was going through and just kind of dissecting all the music on Twitch. And I was specifically going through DJs because I didn't want a channel where there was going to be a lot of talking, because I was trying to like focus and do work. And having those DJ channels on like as background noise when you're trying to produce content or whatever is just really great. But it's kind of, to your point, it's kind of a double-edged sword, because I did the same thing last week and I found this one DJ and she was doing a really good job of like staying engaged with the audience and chatting, but not to the point that it was like taking away from the music or like distracting from the music. But it definitely was like drawing me in, even though I was specifically trying to not be drawn in. And I think that's like an amazing characteristic, not just of a streamer, but like of a musician, where it's like they're playing the type of music that you would characteristically have on in the background. And yet through their actions, their activities, they're still finding a way to draw you in and get you to participate in the live aspect of their content.
Yeah. I thought that was amazing. That was just such a unique experience. And I've never experienced something like that, because the whole music on Twitch thing is something I've only recently started actually getting into. It's just so cool. Like I've tried 24-hour live streams on YouTube with like the chill hip hop, lo-fi, whatever. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I listen to those.
I listen to that when I study.
Yeah.
But I think from here on out, bro, I'm going to be on Twitch listening to some like live chill DJs, because it's just the best vibes you could ask for.
Yeah, I feel the same way. That's exactly how I felt too. And I was thinking the same thing that you said just a minute ago when I was listening last night. As I'm like, this is better than the YouTube. I would say better. it's different, but it's different in like the right way, right? It's not that it's just
Yeah.
necessarily better. It's just a different experience. And I like it better for me. Um, that interaction that you can have if you want to, but then also having like the visual of seeing the DJ there doing the thing. I find that to be like, super interesting. My question with this though is if some of these musicians can like really nail this formula well, and there's some who've already done it, they've been there for a while. One of the more successful musical acts on Twitch is called A Couple Streams. Have you heard of those two?
Mm-mm.
No.
They're great. Like if you're listening to this, definitely go and check them out. They have a great channel. But I think it's a husband and wife, boyfriend, girlfriend. I'm not sure, but I think they're married, and they have their own original music. They do covers, and they have invested really heavily into their setup, and they've done a great job. They sell their albums through their stream, and then they have this really cool widget embedded in their stream where, as people donate, if you hit certain donation thresholds, so like collectively as an audience, they'll stay on longer and keep doing encores. So if they hit like $20 in donations, they'll do like a 1-song encore. If they hit like $40, they'll do a 3-song encore. Basically, as the stream progresses, you start seeing that donation meter go up, 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 because everyone wants an encore. And I've watched them a ton of times. I've never seen them end a stream without hitting at least 2 or 3 encores every single time. So my question, I guess, I didn't ask my question. My question is, if someone gets this formula right, why would someone who's not like Madonna ever go and perform in a traditional venue ever again? What's the point? I mean, unless that's what you really like to do and you're into, why not just do it at home where you can do it every night and you don't have to worry about the venue taking a cut?
Well, I think it also depends on what the audience or the viewers want. Not everybody wants to just watch somebody live online. They want to go to a live event, and I think that's part of why artists do what they do.
Yeah, I'm not saying that live will go away. What I'm saying is if you're previously a live musician, like traditional musician, and you go to Twitch because of like maybe it's coronavirus or whatever, you go to Twitch and you start doing it there and you figure it out. I guess maybe I'm not asking the question, maybe I'm more like making a prediction. I think a lot of artists are going to say, I'm just going to stay here and do this. I make more money this way. It's way easier than lugging all this equipment around. I get to interact in real time. I can drink as
And
much
it's
as
more
I want.
accessible.
It's more accessible. I can run to the bathroom whenever I need to. Like it's just better all around, I think, for the right type of person. To your point, definitely there's still a reason to go see live music in the wild.
I think if you're a growing musician and you have the opportunity to put on a concert, you're going to go put on a concert, regardless of whether you want to sit there and think it's easier.
Yeah, that's a good point. Like a live audience is still a live audience. That's a good point. Roots, by the way, the Roots, they're big StreamKick podcast listeners. So shout out to the Roots. Appreciate having you guys on here.
Let's get him as a guest.
We'll try. See if we can get on as our first guest. So anyway, so that actually wraps up the roundup. That's our 183rd edition of the roundup. That's our last story for the week. So hopefully you guys will listen to this and you gain something valuable from this, and you're well equipped to go into your week and impress your friends with all of your new streaming knowledge that you have. What are you guys up to this week? What's on the game plan for y'all?
Yeah, I don't know how to go with that question, Camper.
What are you guys watching on Twitch this week, or Mixer, or your platform of choice? What are you into?
Does Netflix count as my platform of choice?
It could.
All right.
You get to decide.
All right. Well, I will say this. I am going to be rewatching Breaking Bad for the 3rd time.
The whole series?
Yeah, I've watched it twice, and it gets better. Well, it was better the 2nd time than it was the 1st.
My guilty multi-season binge is The Office. If I'm going to sit down and like really go hard, it's going to be on The Office.
Yeah, I've done The
See,
Office
for me,
twice.
The Office for me is something I turn on when I'm doing homework or something. Or like when I'm really not focusing on TV, or if I'm like, I have some friends over and we're hanging out and TV's on in the background, that's when I throw on The Office. I don't really just sit down and watch it though.
I don't know if you guys, Ricky Gervais did this series called I think it's called The Afterlife. and it is the most depressing yet funniest show you'll ever see. It's on Netflix. So he did it, they just did their second season, but obviously the creator of The Office. It's phenomenal. If you get a chance, watch it. I mean, plan to be depressed and then plan to laugh your ass off. It's awesome.
Which comes first, the depression or the laughing?
Depression comes first. Yeah.
Ooh, I don't know about that one. Actually, I guess it's better than ending with depression.
Probably.
Yeah.
Ricky Gervais is a pretty funny dude though. Like almost everything he touches is got like a very unique angle to it, a very unique spin to it. It's pretty funny.
Yeah. What about you, Camper?
Yeah, for me, it's we just kind of talked about it. I'm really digging into the music this week. I'm gonna hit up StreamKick. I'm gonna just see how much cool stuff I can find because I have a feeling a lot of acts are gonna stay. I have a feeling that a lot of acts are gonna leave. So I kind of want to see what I can see while it's there. And like I said before, it's great background music anyway. So yeah, that's where I'm gonna be in the music streams, hanging out down there.
Major vibes.
Yep. Cool. All right. So that wraps up first episode. Appreciate you guys joining us. Real quick, if you want to find us, stay in touch with the StreamKick community. It's very easy to do on the web. You can find us at streamkick.com. Pretty easy. On Twitter, we are at StreamKick. Same with Instagram, at StreamKick. And RoboKast, there's your chance, man. Plug your channel. Tell folks where they can find you.
Self-plug time? It's my favorite. Okay, you can find me over on YouTube at RoboKast, RoboKast, not with a C. Make a lot of gaming content, mainly focused on nostalgic games, stuff that you grew up with, depending on your age. Old games that aren't around anymore, stuff like that. A lot of nostalgia-driven content. So if you're into that, if you're into gaming, definitely check me out over on YouTube.
Awesome, man. Be sure to do that. Robo's got some really great content on there. Really, really cool stuff. That said, we are done. Thank you guys so much. Remember, the show comes out weekly, so you'll find us every Tuesday on all of your favorite podcast applications. And we'll see you guys next week. Have a good one.